Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a televised broadcast to the nation yesterday in the evening, called the GST reforms as a Bachat Utsav or Festival of Savings for Indians. He is of the opinion that the transition from the 4-slab to 2-slab system of 18.5% is going to enhance Indian savings by 2.5 lakh crore. Particularly, it is going to save a lot of money for the middle classes and the new middle classes of India. He also stated that along with the GST reforms, the reform in the budget wherein individuals till 12 lakh income were exempted from the income tax together are going to take India forward towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. He is of the opinion that Indians should buy the local products and promote the idea of Swadeshi, and he also mentioned that India at one point of time was an economic powerhouse and a manufacturing powerhouse, particularly based on micro and small enterprises, and the same thing should be replicated once more. And he is of the opinion that the GST reform, income tax reform, and the promotion of Atmanirbhar Bharat, all of them put together are going to lead India towards Viksit Bharat ideal. In fact, in the GST reform, so some of the most important reforms are, as we know that the groceries which attracted earlier 18, 12 and 5% GST earlier, now, they attract nil or 5% GST only. And the daily essential, earlier it used to be 18 or 12% slab. Now it is come to 5% slab. Clothing and footwear from 12% slab to 5% slab, it has been transitioned. And health and life insurance, which was a much needed reform. Earlier they used to attract 18% GST tax. But now, in the interest of a healthy India, they have been converted into nil GST. When it comes to medicines, the medicines earlier used to attract 12% GST. Now it has been reduced to nil or 5%. Even in case of stationery too, 5 to 12% was the earlier GST. Now it has been converted to nil or 5%. So this way, the GST reform, we have to wait and see how far it is going to impact economic expansion in India, enhance saving rate, and also bring about the much needed relief for the middle classes and the new middle classes of India. We have to wait and see till the next budget. Resource extraction in Meghalaya has led to a lot of controversy. In fact, we know that Meghalaya is a state which is inhabited by the tribal groups like Khasi, Jaintia and Garo. And in the areas which are inhabited by the Khasis, there have been explorations of minerals conducted. And in these explorations, we have identified that huge deposits of uranium are found particularly in the Khasi region at two places. One is Dumia Siat and second one is Wahakaji. These are the two spots where large deposits have been identified in 1980s itself. But the local communities, they were not interested in extracting them or permitting the central government to extract the minerals here, primarily because uranium extraction is going to lead to lot many adverse health consequences for the people. That's the reason why the Khasi groups were opposing it. In fact, so we know that in resource extraction, the local communities' consent, free and informed consent of the local communities is a prerequisite. But the Union Ministry of Environment, what it had done is, it has put a new office memorandum. And this office memorandum clearly exempts atomic, critical and strategic minerals for public consultation. It means that whenever the government is trying to extract either atomic, critical and strategic minerals, so then automatically what will happen is they will be exempted from public consultation. So this is the office memorandum which has been issued by the Ministry of Environment. Because of this office memorandum, right now there is no need to consult the Khasi population in order to extract the minerals. But the Khasi population is saying that they are going to invoke 6th schedule of the constitution, primarily because the Khasi region is under a tribal autonomous district, and by exercising their rights under 6th schedule, they want to stop uranium extraction. So this is a very, very important case wherein, so earlier too, the Supreme Court on multiple occasions upheld the local communities' rights over the local resources. But in earlier Vedanta case and later in 6th schedule cases also, the Supreme Court has upheld this decision. But the central government on many occasions, at every possible opportunity, it tried to sidestep these provisions, primarily because uranium is a strategic and atomic mineral which is going to be helpful in our nuclear energy transition. So this matter also is again going to go to the Supreme Court of India. Then the Supreme Court is going to take a decision whether the office memorandum, which has been made compromising the much needed procedural safeguards for mineral extraction? Is it in the right focus, or is it sidestepping the procedural safeguards which have been given to the tribals? The Supreme Court is yet to determine. In increasing support to the Palestinian cause and the two-state solution, recently UK, Australia and Canada on Sunday recognized Palestinian state. In fact, this is a major shift in the Western Alliance, primarily because the Western Alliance from the start of or from post Second World War era have been strong supporters of Israel's cause. But because of the genocide in Gaza and the ongoing conflict from the past 2 years, which led to nearly 65,000 casualties and over-activism of Israel, many of its time-tested partners now are shifting towards a support to the Palestinian cause. And in this bandwagon, UK, Australia and Canada, they came in the forefront, and French is going to also follow, and this recognition to two-state solution is going to be a major breakthrough for the Palestinian cause. Now, Israel and USA are the only two nations which are still opposing the two-nation solution, and Israel's on-ground offensive against Gaza and illegal occupation of the provinces which are present in West Bank and Gaza, it has to stop immediately, primarily because the two-state solution should mean a viable Palestinian state, not any Palestinian state which has been completely occupied by Israel. And this is definitely a blowback to the ultra-Zionism which is present in Israel. In fact, UK giving recognition to Palestine is a major breakthrough, primarily because historically too UK has a responsibility, primarily because today's Israel state, it is come out of the Balfour Declaration of UK, which was made in 1917 post First World War. So that is the reason why UK had an historical responsibility, and it did the right thing by recognizing the Palestinian state, and more states are going to follow. So then UN resolutions are also going to follow. Let's see how Trump-led USA and Netanyahu-led Israel are going to respond to this. Israel has already accused UK and other states for sponsoring and supporting terrorism, primarily because Israel believes in a philosophy wherein either you are with us or you are against us. And now it has proclaimed that UK is supporting terrorism. The MiG-21 aircrafts, which have been the workhorse of Indian Air Force, are officially set to retire on September 26th in Chandigarh. It would be followed by a ceremonial flypast, and a decommissioning event will be conducted in Chandigarh by IAF, so which leads to the formal retirement of MiG-21. As we know very well, the MiG-21 has been the backbone of Indian Air Force for the past 60 years. Despite of numerous technical challenges and multiple accidents, the Indian Air Force has continued using MiG-21 aircrafts, and at the peak of its capacity, nearly 700 aircrafts used to service the Indian Air Force. In fact, one more important thing that we need to remember about the MiG-21 aircraft is they have been officially procured in 1963 during or immediately after the India-China war. And after that, they continued servicing India, and they played a very critical role in the 1965 war, then 1971 war, then Kargil conflict, they played a very important role. Then apart from that, during surgical strikes, they played a very important role. We know that Abhinandan Varthaman also flew the same MiG-21 aircraft, which has downed a Pakistani F-16 aircraft. And apart from that, even in Operation Sindoor, the same aircrafts have been used. Now, they are going to be officially decommissioned. Now, the thing is, Indian Air Force is planning for replacing the MiG-21 aircrafts with the Tejas light combat aircraft, that is Mk-1A. But the full capacity of the Indian Air Force would not be restored for a few years too, primarily because the induction of Tejas is going to take more time. So this is the story of MiG-21, which is the workhorse of Indian Air Force, and at the same time, it also has a very bad name that it is called as the flying coffin of India. And we know very well that India procured the MiG-21 aircrafts from Russia, and some of them are also domestically manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited too. Thank you.